Hello everybody, it's Peter. It's the Harvil Road. It's Saturday, the 10th of August, and I've walked clear of the HS2 site, the workings, just down there, just a bit on the right, maybe 50 yards away. That's the entrance to gate number 4. There's nothing to see there. The Harvil Road, there's a little path, little entrance there, but what I want to show you is this little entrance here. Again, almost, well, totally hidden from the road. You could drive past it dozens of times, but this path, obviously it's been designed with these sleepers in a way to be an anti-vehicle path. Luckily I don't have a vehicle. Public right-of-way closed, it says. The line of the main works. Now I have been along this right of way in the opposite direction and come out here. I don't remember seeing that sign, so it might be that since I did that they've closed off the path. But in the interest of exploration, filming, YouTube, adventure, all that sort of thing, I'm going to see how far I can get along here. Mainly because I can get away from the traffic on this road, on this path. My previous videos today didn't really show you very much, and I apologise for that, but I did my best to try to get a bit nearer to Dominique, and was thwarted by various security people en route. I think this is actually open, it must be. This public right-of-way goes past a field in which dozens and dozens, scores probably, of new trees have been planted, presumably by HS2, in an effort to ameliorate their perceived threat to the landscape around here, which seems to be the main source of objection by people who don't like the idea of a new railway coming through this valley. And it opens up rather nicely, sunlit. You wouldn't think it's a valley because the ground is flat, but of course in the distance we can see the famous, the infamous, the only, the one and only Dominique. There it is, by the second pylon. There's the first one, there's the second one, just this side of it. And so it's marvellous. You can see it from quite a few different angles, I would think, and it's only going to be around for, best guess is 3 weeks now. It's August the 10th, so by the end of August, as somebody has written in the comments, it'll no longer be needed. So I presume then it'll be dismantled and taken to some other part of the world. I just heard a train in the Chiltern line. There's quite a good view here of the segments lined up. I mean, I think they're quite small. I filmed them earlier today, because they can only be about 150 yards of trackway or viaduct to be laid before it gets to the flat earthbound bit and goes under the Harvil Road and goes into the Copthall Tunnel. But it's quite a good view of the segments in their sunlit glory, waiting for their final resting places. So, at least on this deserted, little used, almost unused path, you can see there's barely any wear on it. At least I won't encounter any orange-suited chap who says, "Oh, you can't come here, might be a vehicle coming along." I ought to apply for a job, really, as security guard on this. It doesn't seem particularly arduous. It's about once every 3 weeks you meet people like me wandering along who want to film a little bit of what's going on, and you just have to say no. I mean, the training course to be a security guard must take all of 5 minutes, I just don't know. Perhaps I'm being unduly critical. Maybe they're security guards watching this video and eating their tea or something and choking on it and thinking, what does he know? What's he know about security? We have to get black belts in jiu-jitsu or something. Though I rather doubt it. Anyway, so this is a little sort of welcome to my world walk along this path. Often there are unknowns. Getting back to my Latin theme of the previous video, I think it was, I was just thinking today of what my various Latin sayings, and I would call them credos, which is something you believe in, like a motto. And one I've grown to like more and more lately is festina lonte. Now that means make haste slowly. So if you want to do something really quickly and really important and you rush at it, the likelihood is that something will go wrong, and it's much better if you take your time and do it methodically, because you'll get there in the end probably quicker. Our Latin teacher at school, everybody had nicknames, and oh, there's a good view of Dominique. Isn't that fantastic? And you can hear a train. Can you hear it? I don't know what the sound is like on this audio, but I can hear a train going just about underneath the Harvil Road by now. Anyway, so all the teachers had nicknames. For example, we had a teacher called W.E. Beck, and because his initials were W.E.B., his nickname was Spider. Quite simple. But some nicknames sort of lost, the origins of them were lost in the midst of time. There was an English teacher called Soapy Huston. I don't know why he was called Soapy. The head teacher was called Daddy Elston. Don't know why he was called Daddy. But most intriguingly of all, the Latin teacher, and yes, we did have them in those days, that's an interesting little path, was called Clank Latimer. Now Latimer is almost means Latin man in sort of old French / New English. So he's totally appropriately named. There's a word for that, which escapes me. But he was great because he gave us lots of mottos to start with, including ones that we all use in common usage today: quid pro quo, and perhaps one of my favourites of all time, which is mens sana in corpore sano, which is the basis of all athletics nowadays. Sound mind and a sound body. You have to, and it's quite prevalent now. You know, athletes take time off for their mental health. You didn't used to have that sort of thing going on, because anybody who had a bit of a mental health problem was deemed to be a bit of a well, I don't know, not quite the full. Let's not go there, because I'm sure there are people who know people who have mental health problems, and I wouldn't want to denigrate that by giving them names which may well be insulting. But my primary school teacher, Mr. J.E. Williams, a wonderful man, and that's a great view of Dominique. Wonderful man, very old man when he taught me. I was a very young pupil. I was 10 or 11, and he used to regale us once a year with his tales of World War One, believe it or not, which he fought in, and he was in the trenches there, and they go over the top every now and then and try and advance a few yards, and one attack didn't work. Well, I think they all didn't work. And he ended up in a bomb crater. And he couldn't get out because, you know, the enemy were firing at him. And he had to sort of stay there for about 3 days. I think he probably got out at night time in the dark or something. But, you know, things were really, really bad, World War One. Just for a few yards of land. Anyway, he swore by having his pupils healthy in body and mind, and one would feed the other, and he insisted that we all learnt to swim. And we did. Every year we would swim 25 yards. Every single pupil would swim across a pool, because the pools were 50 yards long, and doggy paddle, however you did it, you were encouraged to do it, and it worked. You know, we had the 11 plus in those days. We had a 50% pass rate, which is much better than the national average, and we had a 100% swim rate. So, believe it or not, I think there is a correlation, and I've always thought that healthy exercise is good for the mind and vice versa. But that's me, my opinion. You may or may not agree. This is the wood planted by the HS2 people. There seem to be trees with berries on them, and I haven't been stopped by anybody yet, but I've done enough telling you about my educational history, so I think probably sign off there today with a final view of Dominique, which looks quite beautiful, really, orange/red, depending on the light, and only, well, quarter of a mile away from me. If there were a running track, you could be there in a minute or two, and it's silent, resting today, and I think that's what I might do after this. Let's get a bit of a close-up, and it's very quiet here, and soon, eventually, all this will be just left to the birds and the animals. Thanks a lot for watching. It's Peter the Rock. It's Saturday the 10th of August. Like and subscribe. Cheers.